You know, you can't fake that energy, and you can't fake the fact that you have to be vigilant all the time of what's going on around you. And I think the notion of spies within New York is just such a lovely concept because there's so much going on.
Con Gaby Cam y Javier Ibarreche.
Tom, it's great to talk to you. Welcome to the Estreno. Congrats on CIA, the new show, and the heart-stopping season finale that's making our head like boom. I'm going to start talking about moving to New York because that is an experience by itself. How much did the city, fast-paced energy help you channel Colin's own urgency and drive when he's out there trying to solve cases?
New York's incredible. I mean, you know, I spent a lot of time living in London, and of all the cities in the States that I've spent time in, New York reminds me of London. You know, these big, established, historical cities that I've just got, they're melting pots of absolutely everything. And the vibrancy in New York is so tangible. It's in the air here. And, you know, we shoot on the streets here, and it's a very different experience I've ever had to anywhere else because you can't close the streets off. So you just basically put up a sign saying, we're filming here. If you walk past this sign, you will be in the show. And no one cares. No one cares about anything here. So we literally are, you know, it feels a little bit like when you do guerrilla filming, when you just take a camera out and you're just in amongst the people. It's very much what the show is, but it kind of really helps. You know, you can't fake that energy, and you can't fake the fact that you have to be vigilant all the time of what's going on around you. And I think the notion of spies within New York is just such a lovely concept because there's so much going on. So yeah, it really sort of adds something to the show for sure. I think New York is like a character in the show because it's so unique.
It definitely feels like that, you know? And talking about refreshing, for years we've watched you solve cases using your charm and, well, your divine intuition, to say it some way. Stepping into Colin's shoes, you're now relying on your instinct, visceral instinct, I must say, and operating in the shadows. As you were stepping into another major leading role, how refreshing was it to trade the supernatural rules for the raw human stakes of the CIA?
It's nice. I mean, it's obviously a very different experience. In Lucifer, you know, there is, because we're making up the mythology as we go, you know, there are things that we can do that, you know, can get you out of a difficult situation, like writing-wise as well. You know, it's a useful tool to have in the back pocket, the writers would say. In this, obviously, we're faced with different circumstances and our believability, and, you know, we want to make the show as grounded as we can whilst making it entertaining. And yes, playing someone who, you know, not only is Colin human and has to work on his human instincts, he also, which I love about the show, is unarmed. For the rules of the CIA, he's not allowed to carry a gun, and so therefore he has to use his guile and his, you know, quick thinking to stay ahead of people, and that in itself is fun as well. It means that, you know, the writers can't be lazy about that either. You know, we have to be creative in the way that Colin moves through this thing. Obviously, you know, having Bill as his wingman, it adds an interesting dynamic to that stuff. But the fact that Bill has a gun and Colin doesn't, I think it's quite a nice kind of fundamental philosophy for these two characters.
That's so fantastic. And you know, you're in a Dick Wolf show. That's amazing. That's the biggest you can get. And those shows always nail the authenticity. And I wanted to ask you, between the learning, of course, the specific CIA, the slang, and realizing just how much the agency operates into those gray areas, what part of that real world tradecraft and moral ambiguity has made the biggest impression on you?
I think, you know, we watch these spy movies and these, you know, over the years, and like we think we know, you know, and you know, a lot of the time I'm watching things thinking, well, that's just for TV and film. But then I start speaking to people that have worked in the CIA, and we have a guy here, Mike Matera, who was an FBI agent, but he did a lot of undercover work in the FBI, and he talks to me about some of the stuff that he did, and it's just, you know, it's unbelievable, and the danger that these people put themselves in constantly, and the kind of the mask that they have to keep up, and all of these things. It's the most kind of daring like positions that I can't even like really imagine doing that in real life. And it really is like, so anytime we've got stuff in the show where you think, oh, that wouldn't happen, it would, you know. But a lot of the time it would, and more than that, but to a point where you wouldn't even believe that these things happen. So I just, it's kind of eye-opening, really. It was quite nice to know that, you know, we're not cheating here. We're not sort of like making up frivolous things that wouldn't happen in real life. It's quite the opposite, really. And that was the thing that was the most humbling for me. It's like all this stuff is happening around us and we have no idea.
That's mind-blowing, you know?
I
And
know.
talking about mind-blowing, I have to ask you about the finale, of course. No spoilers
Yeah.
here. But I'm curious, how do you feel Colin's time working in that gray area has permanently changed him compared to the guy we met in the first episode? Because there are two different guys there.
Yeah, I mean, the guy that we met in the first episode, I think, is someone who was, you know, Colin's been dealing with grief, you know, from the moment we met him on the show. And then to have that suddenly just turned on its head, it just creates this kind of tinderbox inside of him. And he is ready to explode at any moment because he's so used to being on top, so used to being in control, so used to being one step ahead, and to have all of those things just like the rug pulled from under his feet. It's the first kind of time we witnessed Colin off axis. And, you know, he's someone who prides himself on compartmentalization and you know, being able to just sit on feelings. But, you know, he's only human. And that's what we have to remind ourselves at the end of it. And unless you're a complete and utter sociopath, somewhere along the line, it's going to affect you. And I think that, you know, we by the end of the season, we get a sense that Colin has been worn down by this existence. And not only has he been worn down by the existence, but he's been worn down, and then something huge happens and he doesn't have the tools to deal with it because he's been worn down.
Yeah,
So
what a
it's-
surprise that is.
Yeah, it's great though. I mean, taking a character on a journey like that, that's, from my point of view, that's so much fun. And I think it's so much more interesting for the viewer. You know, when they think they know something about someone and then they start to discover more and more, it's just, that for me is the sweet spot.
That's perfect, as you say. It's what keeps us like wanting more, to
Yeah.
learn more about Colin, learn more about those characters. We're involved, totally involved. So thank you so much, Tom, for
Thank
your
you.
work. Congratulations on the show again, and well, let's hope for more seasons of CIA.
Con Gaby Cam y Javier Ibarreche.